I'm Andy Signore, director of Man at Arms. It's a show for Break Media. We put it on the Omni channel, and each week we found this amazing blacksmith. I am now proud to call him my blacksmith, Tony Swatton, and each week he builds a weapon from scratch based off pop culture. I have an example right here. This is the Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts, which is quite heavy and quite dangerous. So the show came about for us wanting to do a sort of duel-y, sort of action-y sort of show, and like duels is what we sort of where it came from. And so I'd seen some clips online of blacksmiths doing stuff, and the views were up, like huge views of people just hammering like daggers and stuff. And I thought, this is cool, but why isn't someone making like, you know, the He-Man sword and like doing actual weapons? I called several blacksmiths around. There are not apparently as many blacksmiths as you think. Every other blacksmith I talked to told me to talk to Tony. And so then once I talked to Tony, he's like, yeah, talk to any other blacksmith you want. You're going to call me back because I'm the only guy who can do this. And it turned out it was true. So it was just a Google search of finding blacksmith in the LA area, and then referrals to Tony, and Tony ended up being sort of the dream come true of making everything we wanted. He was able to do it.
Hey, new media rock stars. So Gimli's axe here, just fitting this all up.
Nice.
I was always interested in this kind of stuff and couldn't afford it, so I started making my own, and now I have all of this.
Hey, yeah. Tony, do you want to rip my head off during the shoot sometimes?
I don't need to rip it off. I got all these sharp implements.
So all those trolls who say these aren't real swords can eat it. Right, Tony?
This is real. This thing would do some serious damage. Cut my nose off right here. This is 43 stitches. It's just hanging there. This is a cut from stabbing a knife, sheathing it into my arm. This is just speckled burns from this week's build for you guys. The Keyblade, you'll see the flash fire shooting out of the. Maybe it made a flamethrower. Very, very cool. Except to my arm. The biggest things with the show is I'm not that familiar with the pop culture. I don't watch television. I haven't had a TV hooked up since 1997. I don't play video games. I've made the bat'leth type weapons before for Star Trek, but I haven't made them, you know, to this realism. You know, it's certainly out of aluminum. This thing was pretty redonkulous. You know, just trying to interpret an 8-bit sword and make it real.
I will say, this is one I challenged Tony on. I was like, Tony, we really need to do the 8-bit Minecraft sword. And Tony, what was your response to that?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem.
No, it wasn't.
I don't want to. You can't make me.
This was one piece where we did push a little bit, and he made. And the reason I pushed is because I knew he was going to make something amazing, and he figured it out. He always does. This is one of the coolest things I think we've made. What do you think? Right? This is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's still weird, but yeah. I like Jamie Lannister's sword. Ninja Turtles. Size for Raphael was great. Yeah, because I'm more familiar with the traditional weapons as opposed to video games and stuff that I'm completely oblivious to. The Kingdom Hearts sword, I see these people at cons walking around in crazy wigs and this gigantic tinfoil wrap piece of toilet paper tube or carpet tube or something, and I'm like, you know, what is this? And so now I had to make it, you know. But it took out the door pretty good. Everything I make for Man at Arms is my fan-based interpretation of other people's properties. If people want to buy a piece that they've seen on the show, if they can get me written permission from Cartoon Network or Marvel or Disney or Warner Brothers, then I will talk price with them. But otherwise, you're welcome to come to my showroom in Burbank, California. We're open on Saturdays. You can see some of the pieces on my website, www.swordandstone.com. But they are not for sale. You know, I do take private commissions, but right now I'm about 2 to 3 years out, and pieces start at about $2,000 to $5,000. In 2015, if you place your order now, and I'm interested in taking commission, I may be able to deliver something to you. We just updated my website because it was exploding. It's now like a terabyte of bandwidth, and when this show comes out, we'll probably have to bump it some more.
Season 2 amped up a lot. We actually took a lot more comments from the users. Like this season 2 is all requests from the users, and so it was a hybrid of figuring out which ones can we do, because we shoot the show in a block of 6, just so it's easier for Tony to get these done. So we took 6 of the most demand comments. This season we have the Kingdom Hearts Keyblade. We have a Klingon. I'm going to say it wrong. do you know how to say it? The Bothla. It's the blade. We have the Klingon blade from Star Trek.
Okay,
we have Captain America's shield, the Minecraft diamond sword, Gimli's axe from Lord of the Rings, the Buster sword from Final Fantasy, which was a huge one. That is a huge, literally a 6-foot blade that he's going to be crushing some wooden tables with. In season 2, we really went bigger too. Like we wanted more action, we wanted bigger weapons, we wanted stuff that people asked for. On Man at Arms, we take the production really seriously. Like we shoot it very slickly. Our DP Matt Irwin is fantastic. He's in here all week, following Tony, like with the amazing camera package, shooting it just so professionally slick that it would seem like the show would be boring week after week watching these builds, but it's not. Like we document it so cool. Like you just watch every piece of every weapon that we feel like this show. I feel like this show is really giving you a really cool sort of Discovery Channel vibe, but you're getting really this sort of very like niche sort of objects that you wouldn't normally get to see anywhere else. We sort of do what we want because we sort of wait for people to tell us that we can't do it, just because we don't want to disappoint the fans. The argument is these are Tony's interpretations of the weapons, so I feel like we get around it that way, but we try not to say can't. Tony specifically, like when I give him a sword, can you make the Buster sword, which is a gigantic sword, of course he's like, well, if you need me to make, I'm going to make the Buster sword. So we definitely try just to make no rules, like make the biggest, coolest things we can. My favorite weapon so far has probably been the Adventure Time. Finn's golden blade golden sword turned out really cool. This season so far, the Minecraft sword is pretty awesome. I have to say that might surpass it. There's a lot of damage. If you take a look, there's a lot of carnage that we have to be very careful of. We take the show extremely seriously. We have medics on set. We have a stunt team who goes through and safety, make sure we have Fernie pad and walls. Because it is web, that's an expense that most web shows probably don't have to deal with, is the safety aspect, but it adds a lot of our costs because we have to be sure that no one's walking around on the broken glass without it being swept away. So safety is super important. No one's gotten hurt, thank God. And so far no problems, but it's definitely sort of a fun set just because there's always the little, you never know. On season 1, some of the swords broke, which we didn't want to show right away just because we had to build it so fast, and we didn't want to show that piece, but in season 2, the reason they did is because Tony had to build them so fast. So that was a more dangerous safety thing that we learned. We have to be even careful. In season 2, he's now tempered them to their death. So like you could literally drive anything on these. It just takes twice as long to build them. But we made sure this round that doesn't even happen. So all these weapons are just completely sturdy, working weapons. This is our set medic, George.
Hello.
Have we had any trouble?
Not so far.
No problems on set? Any questions for the set? Is this a dangerous show?
Not really. Yes.
There you go. This is the answer. Hell yeah, it's crazy.
We got political answer, not really, and real answer. Very dangerous.
This is Brian. He's Tony's go-to. What's your title?
Gruntling.
Gruntling. Brian's a huge resource on our stunts and he knows the pop culture stuff way better than Tony. And you also know the cool stuff that Tony's built. Can you show us some of the fun stuff?
Yeah, first off, Pirates of the Caribbean. This is Johnny Depp's sword right now. This is me touching Johnny Depp's tip. That just happened. This is from Soul Calibur. Got a little Soul Edge action going on there. Tony's first big gig was making the hook for a hook. What a lot of people don't know is he actually made a bunch of hooks because they didn't know what they wanted. So he made a ton of hooks. He even made a little baby hook for the little teddy bear. In this case over here, we got Zorro, we got Sucker Punch, we have Sweet Peace Pauldron from Hellboy, we have the Colonel's blades, we have daggers from Alias, we have Last Samurai. This is actually the blade we made for, I believe it was Criminal Minds. We make stunt versions out of aircraft aluminum, we make the real thing. So here's the real thing we made, and then they went out and they made a rubber version. So as you can see, ours kind of looks better. So here we do the real thing. We don't make things out of rubber. It's all by hand. There's nothing automated. The Spear of Destiny from Constantine. Yes, most people did think it would be bigger. You know, camera adds 6 inches. These are Katy Perry's scale mail arms. Be jealous. That's right there. Down here, we see some cans of Spam. We did not actually make that Spam.
You didn't?
That Spam was actually a gift from the whole cast of Spam-A-Lot. Because we actually made a big goblet, I believe a big goblet, and then Tim Curry's sword, which he really liked, and he did terrible things to it, I hear. but it's Tim Curry, so it's totally okay. I got Deadliest Warrior, and that can show you Katy Perry's boobs.
Let's do it.
Tony made this for Season 1, Episode 1 of Deadliest Warrior on Spike Channel. Chuck Liddell cut a cow in half with this. Not even kidding. Look it up. A cow in half with this. Moving along over here, we got a steampunk arm and some goggles that was used by Panic at the Disco, I believe in the Ballad of Mona Lisa. We have Prince Caspian's sword. One of the things we're actually doing in our show currently is we're making an axe out of Damascus. It's a pattern weld where we actually have multiple layers. The one we're currently doing has 143, I believe, layers of individual sheets of metal that Tony then forge welds together. Tony's made multiple Wonder Woman costumes worn by men and women alike, as well as an entire Xena outfit for Rainn Wilson or Dwight Schrute from The Office. I believe that's in Vogue or People. I'm gonna look that up. We also have here, you saw Katy Perry's arms. This is Katy Perry's breastplate from the E.T. music video. So to get this, Tony does what he likes to call a saliva cast. It's a little more detailed, a little more painstaking, but you just kind of get that level of detail, and you kind of get to connect with your model, get inside their head. Or
Is this the mold from her actual boob?
this actually is perfectly fit to her.
Wow, so that's what it would be like to touch her boob?
This is
But just
Katy Perry's
softer.
boobs. Yeah, I mean, there's no nipples.
Get
you
in
know.
there, guys. Come on.
Oh, good. No.
It's happening.
Can we get a
It's
female
happening.
hand on it too?
Actually,
so
just
I-
to
yeah.
just to make it okay.
There we
It's
go.
okay. now.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's
it
nice.
is nice.
Real
nice.
nice.
But this is all hammered. You know, this is all, you know, that's how you get those. You're like, wow, those look like hammer strikes. It's because they are. There's no way to cheat that.
I really want to get in there. What's it feel like underneath? Because her boobs touch that, right?
Yeah, that's that
Did her
was.
boobs touch that part?
Yes, they did
Cool.
actually.
So my hand's touching
and
where her boob
she
was,
did not.
right?
I do not believe she could wear a bra simply
Nice.
because of the constraint.
Well, then by God, man. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
In the back, we have the breasts of such celebrities as Britney Spears. I think we have Janet Jackson. Queen Latifah. That's a lot of metal. You go, girl. You go, girl. Pseudo arm right here. It's originally made for John Cleese. That's right. He's not home right now. Yeah, I'll just keep talking until you say shut up. Something like these, if you came into our shop, we're open on Saturdays to the public for knife sharpening as well as rentals and purchases and things. And I believe if you want a stunt sword, same swords that you see being used in Thor, Pirates of the Caribbean, anything like that, which is aircraft aluminum, and it's hard to tell. All right, which one is which? I don't know. This is aluminum. This is steel.
Photobombed by a Minotaur.
Yeah, get it. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I'm gonna eat. Pastrami is calling me.
These guys,
Pastrami's
don't get much, these guys don't get much sleep.
That's
Nice.
true. Tony's made many iconic items, including the hook from Hook and the blade for Blade. I'm waiting for a movie called Hammer, and then for us to build the hammer, so we can then have also built the hammer from Hammer, or the axe from Axe, or the mask from Mask.
Super slow.